Hi, my name is Wyatt Groth and welcome back to the Hammersmith DIY channel. In today's product review video, we're going to be talking to you about our range of roof finials. Let's roll the intro. So what we have here is a range of roof finials that we sell. Now roof finials also go under the name of gable spires or gable finials. There's a different combination of things, but in essence they all have the same purpose, which is on the roof of an Australian home or the gable where it meets at the front, you would put one of these finials as a decorative feature. So you can imagine if you just take one of these items like so, you've got the gable of the home which comes off on either side, and this is something that sits on the front as a feature. It obviously serves no structural purpose, it's purely there just as decoration. And typically you would be using these on older style Australian homes, you know, whether you're talking villas or Victorian or, you know, bungalows or Queenslanders, whatever it may be. We're talking about homes built in the early 1900s, and then obviously reproduction style homes, so new homes that would be built now in the era of that period. So I wanted to go through a range of the different sizes and what we have here available on our website, which is hammersmith.com.au, and you can shop online and we'll deliver anywhere in Australia for you. So let's go through it. Now we have 6 different roof finials that we sell in terms of heights, and when I talk about different ones I'm talking about the lengths of the finials. So if I just work through them one by one, we've got the little baby one here, which is 350mm long. As you can see, that's the overall length. The length of the square section is 150mm, and something like this you would actually probably wouldn't really use on a home as such. You might use it on a pergola or maybe a cubby house or a carport or something like that. Something where you're not needing as big a finial, but it's quite a small one, but you know, still serves that same decoration purpose. Then we move up to the next one up, which is 680mm in length. And it's got a block section here of about 300mm. This is something which you could use on a house, but once again probably more on a carport or a gazebo or something along those lines. Then we move into the 3 ones which are all really more designed, or 4 I should say, for use on a house. We have the metre one, the 1200, this is millimetres obviously we're talking about, 1500mm, and this long one here, which is approximately 1700mm. So the metre one has a square section of 400mm. You can see this here, and this is easily our most popular selling finial. This is traditionally used on the gable of a home, but sometimes if you have a bigger roof or a longer gable and you want something a bit more substantial, you would go for our 1200 long here, which is 600mm in length. So when I say 1200 long, that's the overall length of the finial, but the actual relative length is 600mm, which is the length of the square section. Then we move up to this one, which I think I had mentioned was 1400, sorry, I said it was 1500mm. It's actually 1450mm long, this particular finial, and the length of the square section is 850mm long, and this would be used on a much larger section. And then all these 3 finials here, 1, 2, 3, are all made from 68 by 68mm feedstock. The 2 smaller ones are made from 57, so that's 57 by 57, 57 by 57. When I say those dimensions, what I'm meaning is that is 57 by 57mm. So those the other small ones, these are all 68 by 68, and then this final one here is actually 90 by 90mm, and I'll just talk to you a little bit about how this works. So this one here is our 90 by 90 roof finial. As I said, the overall length of this is about 1700mm, 1.7 metres, and the length of the square section from this section here to this section here is about 1200mm long. And this is a big finial. But what you could actually do is, obviously, if you didn't need quite as long a finial, but you still liked the size of it, the 90 by 90, there's nothing stopping you from trimming this back to the length of the square section you want, and then putting the finial back in place. You can actually see this is sold as 2 separate pieces, so I should cover that. On our website, you can't buy this finial as one complete unit. What you buy is you buy the bottom section and then you buy the top section. And the reason we do that is there are actually some people out there who don't want a turned top. What they actually do is they take this bottom section and then they end up putting like a metal spire or some sort of wrought iron spire on top as a way of decorating things. So that's why we sell the two products separately. But what we actually do, if you just look in the end here, you'll see there's a hole. So when you buy this hole is pre-drilled to suit this particular product. And if you look here, when I join the two items together, you can see there they join together nicely. So obviously what you would do, a bit of glue, an exterior grade glue obviously, glue that in place, fit it in, and then I would definitely recommend, if you just have a look closely here, I definitely remember after you've glued that product together, make sure you put some sort of silicone or something around there to stop water wanting to try and creep back in there, because if you don't do that, eventually rot is going to set in. And like with all of our exterior products that we sell, they're all manufactured from radiated pine that has been LOSP or H3 treated for outside application. Please paint them before you put them up, because obviously trying to paint them up on a roof can be quite dangerous. And what I would recommend is, because they're going on a roof, normally I'd say do 2 or 3 coats of paint on any product. Do more than 2 or 3 coats of paint on this stuff. Do 4 or 5 coats of paint, because once you put this up on the roof, you really don't want to be having to get back up on your roof to try and paint an item like this, because as I said, it's quite dangerous clearly to get up on roofs. So give them plenty of coats of paint at ground level, then when you put them up, it's going to last a long period of time. But this is the big one. It's very, we can see here what we've got. It's a long section. If I hold it up, you lose it under the table virtually, but you can see how tall. I'm not overly tall, about 5'8", and so you can see how tall this product is in comparison to me. But on a roof, particularly on a really old Australian home where you've got really tall ceilings and tall roofs, it's not going to look as big as that. It's going to be quite a bit smaller. But that's the range of different turned roof finials that we have. Now, what you saw before were very traditional turned roof finials that you probably would way more commonly see on Australian homes. What we have here is what we refer to as a gooseneck finial. And we've got 2 different designs. One is a product that we actually manufacture ourselves, which is this item here. You can see how thick the item is. I think it works out to roughly about 60 mm in thickness, and you can get a bit of a perspective there as to the height of it. And what you would do with this is obviously on the gable of a home, right on the top of the roof where the two eaves meet, and at the front, this is going to sit. So you can imagine then if this was the front of your home, it's going to sit on there, and you've got your eaves coming off, and that's what it's going to look like. You may see, I know in some Australian cities I've seen these sorts of things done out of terracotta and that sort of stuff, like a plaster, something along those lines, but obviously this is something done out of timber. This has quite a nice look because it sort of hooks out off the roof. If you look at it from the side angle, it gives a better perspective there, and it's quite an effective look. And then this particular one, we actually don't manufacture this product, we buy it in. So it comes, like you can see here, all with a coat of primer on it. But probably more importantly, it actually, if you zoom in here, you'll be able to see that it actually comes with a slight metal flange. So that's just a bit of a galvanised sheeting. So that when you actually have where the roof meets, this then would just slot in to your existing roof sheeting, like galvanised sheeting. And it comes with some pop rivets, and you would just pop rivet this into place on the actual roof. So similar sort of setup. If you can imagine this was your roof, it hangs off the front of the roof and creates a really good sort of effect there for on a house, if you've got that style of house which suits that. Obviously this is already primed. You can whack a coat of paint over this. Like a lot of our products, we don't necessarily need, I don't believe they need to be primed. A lot of Australian paints these days have a suitable without a primer needed, but obviously both of these products clearly still need to be painted. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you like what you've seen, please hit the like button, and also feel free to drop me a comment, as I'm happy to reply to any comments you may have. And like I've said before, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below for our channel, and also turn on the bell notification so that you can be notified as to when new videos land. This is Wyatt Groth, signing off.